Honorable members, the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Thursday, 23rd March 2023 is before us for correction and approval. Can any honorable member please move that the said record of votes and proceedings be considered and approved? Any honorable member? Honorable nominated member, Fatoumata Jawara.
Thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, I rise to move that the said record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sittings of Thursday, 23rd of March 2023 be considered and approved.
Thank you very much, Honorable nominated member, Fatou Jawara. Any seconder? Honorable member for Joshua.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to second the motion.
Honorable members, it has been moved and seconded that the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Thursday, 23rd March 2023 be considered and approved. We can now make any corrections we want to go into the record of votes and proceedings as usual, page by page. We begin, as usual, with page 1. Any comments, observations on page 1? We now move to page 2, honorable members. Page 3, honorable members. Honorable member for Woodley East.
Yes, thank you very much. Page 3, on the laying of papers, the second paragraph, which says the Honorable Speaker invited the Honorable Member to move. So I believe we need to capture the constituency of the Honorable Member. Honorable Member for Upper Salon. To move a motion, which is missing there. You've seen it.
Honorable member for Upper Salon. Okay. Honorable member for Nyamina East.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I was here on Thursday, and my name is listed on those absent without permission. Thank you. Number 53.
Number 53. The honorable member claims to... Register. Honorable member, have you signed the register?
Yes, I did, yes.
All right, number 53 should move to number 41. Sorry, no, it should be number 40 under those present. And then the rest of the numbers, the number. Honorable members, we can now move to page 4. Honorable members, we now move to page 5. Honorable member for Woodley East.
Yes, thank you very much. Page 5. If you come to consideration stage at the committee of the whole house, you will see them numbered 8. Number 8, I'm concerned, should be part 8, not part 7. Should be part 8. Roman figure part 8.
Honorable members, consideration stage of at the committee of the whole assembly. Number 8. Questions put and agreed to. That part 7 is what is there. It should be part 8. Number 7 had part 7 already. So number 8 should be part 8, stands part of the bill. Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Woodley East. Any more proposed amendments or observations? Honorable members, it has been moved and seconded that the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Thursday, 23rd March 2023 be approved with amendments. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Thank you very much, honorable members. Clerk, we may proceed.
Laying of papers and reports. Report of the Standing Committee on Public Petitions on the petition report from the Woodley East Animal Protection Association by the Honorable Chairperson of the committee.
Honorable Chairperson of the committee, can you take the floor?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the petition is from the Woodley East Animal Protection Association, and it is about police inaction to stop animal theft in the region. You can see the table of contents are there. This report contains the committee's procedures on the consideration of the public petition regarding police inaction to prevent cattle theft in Woodley region. This petition by the Woodley East Animal Protection Association was presented to the National Assembly on the 19th of June 2020. Having fulfilled the admissibility criteria set in the standing orders, it was referred to the committee for consideration and scrutiny. While considering the petition, the executive committee members of the Animal Protection Association, accompanied by members of Woodley East Development Association, officials of the Cattle Farmers Association, among others, appeared before the committee on the 4th February 2021 and made their submissions. The committee traveled to the Woodley region on the 1st June 2021 and conducted public hearings in places like Boro Kandakase, where the chief resides, Fode Kunda, Makamasre, Sarangai, and Base, respectively. Upon returning to the assembly building, the committee heard from other witnesses ranging from police commissioners, former governor, the Inspector General of Police then, and the Minister of Interior. The committee is grateful. Let me thank the officers of the Speaker and the Clerk of the National Assembly in providing logistical and technical support during the consideration of this petition. Finally, Honorable Speaker, I wish to express my appreciation to the honorable members of the committee secretariat, the press, and all the stakeholders who made submissions towards the preparation and production of this report. On behalf of the Standing Committee on Public Petitions and pursuant to Standing Order 128-2B, it is my pleasant privilege and honor to present this Assembly the report of the Committee on its consideration of the Public Petition number 2 of 2020 regarding the alleged police inaction to prevent and investigate animal theft in the Woolly region and environs. Honorable Speaker, the summary, executive summary is almost distinct. Let me just go straight to the introduction. You can go to page 4, part 1. The Standing Committee on Public Petitions is established by Order 125 of the National Assembly Standing Orders to receive formal complaints from the public. The committee is one of the newest in the National Assembly of the Gambia then. Having been established in 2020, the committee, as detailed in the mandate, receives and reviews public petitions addressed to the Assembly. The petition from the Woolly East Animal Protection Association is one of the earliest petitions received by the committee. It was filed at a time that the committee was not established. However, once it was composed, the petition was then referred to the committee for scrutiny. The findings thereof are reflected in this report. So the methodology we have taken, Honorable Speaker, like all other petitions, all other committees take, is the same procedure as entailed in the standing orders. And our mandate, we derive that from 109 of the 1997 Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia. There shall be a standing committee which is there to consider public petitions addressed to the Assembly, etc., etc. And the composition of the committee, as you can see at the time, was, well, at this time is Honorable 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏, who is the chairperson, Honorable Fatoumata K. Jawara, vice chair, Honorable Suleiman Sawo, member, Honorable Amadou Kamara, member, Honorable Jibin Balo, member, Honorable Kemo Gazama, member, Honorable Kemo Kebalang Fofana, member, Honorable Haruna Bari, member, and Honorable Lamin Jesani, member. And the staff, you can see the staff, Honorable Kadi Hadin Dandeng Jabi, subject matter specialist, Mr. Karu Salah, subject matter specialist, Mr. Mamadou A. Mba, assistant senior committee clerk, Mr. Ibrahim Jao, assistant senior committee clerk, Mrs. Halimatu Tamba, assistant senior committee clerk, and Ms. Mary Mendy, research officer. And you can see the composition of the then committee as follows. The hearing of the petition, part 2, Honorable Speaker, we received oral submissions by the petitioners and other leaders of the Woolly at the National Assembly auditorium. The petitioners, Honorable Speaker, complained of the serious issue of cattle rustling in the region, which the police are failing to prevent or to prosecute. The police usually raise very negative reservations on coming to their aid whenever they are called upon, such as complaining of fuel issues and failure to investigate and prosecute offenders or releasing accused persons before even prosecuting them. That's one of their complaints. The security of the livestock in the region is seriously hampered by the inactive role of the police in the region. More worrying, a good number of those rustlers are from Senegal, across the borders, and the police being inactive. As a result, an agreement was signed by associations from the two countries around the region. Since the signing of this agreement, 11 animal rustlers were arrested, 6 in Senegal by the Senegalese securities and 5 by the Gambian securities in the region. Senegal, according to the petitioners, has been very cooperative, but securities in the Gambia have been very unsupportive, mainly failing to prosecute arrested individuals and frustrating the community thereof. This is reflected on the fact that out of those 5 arrested in the Gambia, only 1 was prosecuted. The Minister of Interior was written to, who promised to take steps to address the matter by replacing the police commissioners and other officials. However, even though this has been implemented, the problem was still escalating. Furthermore, series of complaints and discussion with the IGP and other police institutions have also been made by the petitioners, but to no avail. A promise was made by the minister to train the community on community policing, which was still not forthcoming. It was also revealed by one of the witnesses that the police inaction would seriously lead to violence. Several reports were sent to the police to investigate thefts that have been reported, only for personnel on duties to be lax in investigation, instead asking the community to take responsibility in not only securing their own livestock, but also protection of their lives. The petitioners further requested that the releasing of detained individuals within 72 hours be removed because it makes it difficult for a thorough investigation to be done on thefts. As you can see, some of the key issues that were raised here: 1, inaction of the police in the region despite several complaints; concerns raised on one Amadou Gajiko, who was adversely mentioned as a culprit in cattle and other livestock rustling in the area; 3, the absence of a police station in the Wulli East district to monitor and track animal rustling in the region. The Minister of Interior, as the 4th reason of the offense of IGP failing to strongly institute steps to respond to the growing problem and animal rustling in the area. The failure to prosecute offenders is another major issue there. Honorable Speaker, the committee went to Wulli to inquire into this matter, and they had a meeting at Boro Kandakase, where the chief of the district was residing, and they also met the alcalos in that same meeting. During this public hearing, the committee received oral submissions from the chief, Mr. Ibrahima Sori Juara, alcalos, and other representatives of the villages in the Wulli East and renowned elders. The committee submitted as follows. They submitted as follows their submissions. The chief said stealing ruminants and cattle rustling in general has been a practice in the URR region for quite some time. Chief Juara said they have done everything to persuade the law enforcement officers to help them stem the tide without avail. He said the police commissioners are not willing to protect the property owners, but those bent on pillaging the animals in the district. He mentioned one Amadou Gajiko as the ringleader of the thieves, who he claimed are completely supported by the police. He said he at one time pleaded with Mr. Gajiko to help him recover 13 of his stolen sheep and goats. And Amadou called him one day and said he found them in Senegal and asked him, the chief, to collect them from the location. According to him, he went to that village in the Senegal borders and found them exactly where Amadou told him, directed him. This, according to the chief, is an indication that Mr. Gajiko might have been conniving with bandits across the border to steal ruminants and cattle across the border. The chief further stated that it was not him alone who requested for the support of Amadou in locating their animals. Many people reported to him that they have paid ransom. They have paid ransom to Mr. Gajiko, Amadou Gajiko, yeah. According to the chief, an indication, magical locating is, some paid handsomely but did not recover anything, whilst a few were able to locate theirs through the said Mr. Gajiko. The chief also informed the committee that he had written a letter out of frustration to the permanent secretary, Ministry of Interior, to prevail on the former police commissioner, Mr. Omar Dabo, to cooperate with them to stop Amadou from engaging in animal dealing, but to no avail. He said Commissioner Dabo categorically told him that he would not enforce the GLMA Act because it was not in their purview to do so, even though GLMA officials informed him several times that they have revoked the license of Amadou Gajiko from dealing with and butchering animals. Several Alkalolu present in the meeting also expressed their disappointment with the police. The Alkalo of Birif village said anytime they apprehend a suspected thief and take him to Sarangai police station, the police would push them away from the station. He further informed the committee that a native of his village called Jargaso, who lost his ship, and for 3 months was reporting to the Sarangai police station, but to no avail. After a series of complaints and reports of theft cases at Sarangai and Base police stations without any positive outcomes, the committee was informed that the people resolved in offering ransom to Amadou Gajiko. When the leaders were asked whether they would know the police officer who was doing such dubious acts, they named one officer called Alkali Mandafa, a CID officer. So from there, Honorable Speaker, the committee also met the association, the petitioners, at Forekunda, where we've taken their submissions. During this year, the committee met more than 100 individuals representing the Woolly East Animal Protection Association, a host of other associations from the Gambia and Senegal, elders from the villages in Woolly East and West. They submitted that animal rustling is a prevalent issue in the region, that most of the people have their livelihood on animal rearing, and that the police in the area are not supportive in the fight against rustling. They gave a history of recent animal thefts that one Aliu Banna, the public relations officer of the association and a resident of Kolikunda, reportedly had 5 of his sheep stolen. Weeks later, a man named Dukure of Bajakunda had 2 of his horses stolen. 3. The Imam of the village of Forekunda itself also had 2 of his sheep rustled shortly after. Another speaker called Faye Conte informed the committee that he lost 9 goats. After making a thorough search of the animals to no avail, he inquired from Amadou Gajiko, who requested an amount of $3,000 from him to help trace the animals. He, Faye, refused to pay that amount. One Mandu Kebe of Wuli Jakunda in the Wuli West, who is also the vice president of the Association for Wuli West branch, strengthened the claims made by Mr. Faye Conte that on the 3rd day of Ramadan in 2021, a bull belonging to one Bakari Gaira, a native of Gunju, who entrusted the animal in the village called Temanto, was stolen and slaughtered in Gunjur itself. On the 13th day of Ramadan, he, Mandu Kebe, was informed about it. After the preliminary investigation by the association members on the issue, the report was sent to Alkali Mandafa, the CID officer, stationed in Sarangai police station. That was the last time the issue was heard, according to Mr. Mandu Kebe. Similarly, stolen horses brought into the village of Sinchukoli were seized and taken to Sarangai police station. Nothing was heard on the case again. The association further informed the committee that their relationship with the security forces in the area was not cordial. They feel that the support from the police to curtail the problem is not forthcoming. These challenges include assessing security officers and ensuring their presence in reported theft zone at the appropriate time proved very difficult. Apprehending suspects also proves difficult. This could be, according to the association, as a result of the lack of mobility from the station. Moreover, in a letter addressed to the Chief of Wulli East District, copied to the Governor of URR, Police Commissioner, URR, and the NIA Director, dated 28th February 2020, the association registered complaints on the activities of adversely mentioned witness, Mr. Amadou Gadjiko. In the letter, it was alleged that Mr. Gadjiko was not only accused of animal rustling, but also demanding cash or livelihood inducement to help in locating missing animals. From the letter, the committee informed that the following persons paid certain amounts or livestock to Mr. Gadjiko to recover their animals. One Abdullah Jallo from Bomkunda, having 2 heads of cattle missing, paid $2,000 to Gadjiko. Tungo Singate for the Kunda, 3 female cattle paid $3,000 to Gadjiko. Saibe Naso Brief, 2 mares paid $12,000 to Amadou Gadjiko. Muhammadu Bah, Bomkunda, 2 bulls lost, paid $15,000 to Gadjiko. Ablai Ba, Kolikunda, 1 cow, paid $2,000. Alaji Jallo, Sakano Kunda, 1 cow, paid $1,000. Muhammad Wali, Kanape, 2 horses lost, paid $10,000. Chief Ibrahim Juara himself, Boro Kandakase, 13 goats were lost and were found by Gadjiko. Dawda Jallo, Bomkunda, claimed that he offered a cow to prevent him from stealing his animals. The committee was informed that this strategy was employed by many others as the only means of regaining their roasted animals or prevent possible rustling from Mr. Gadjiko and his accomplices. So there is this hearing from the PIU at 𝒂𝒊𝒏. The committee decided to go to 𝒂𝒊𝒏 where the PIU were located, or are resident. As one of the law enforcement agencies in the area, the committee called on the officers of the station to gather further knowledge on the issue of animal theft, as mentioned in the petition. This is a police checkpoint established at this border settlement to monitor the incoming and outgoing persons from and to Senegal, respectively. The committee was received on arrival by officers Mr. Lamin Kanute, overseeing the checkpoint. Maud Musa Shen and Lamin Ba were also officers there. It is the only armed unit in Wulli East and West. They submitted that during one patrol, they apprehended one suspected animal rustler called Geda from Senegal. They handed him over to the Sarangay police station only to be informed that the suspect has escaped on bail. In one patrol at Sarajami, the officers rescued sheep, rustled, and tethered in the bush. The officers subsequently handed the rescued sheep over to the CID in Sarangay for further investigation. That the substation does not prosecute suspects. Rather, they intercept cases, arrest and detain suspects, and subsequently hand over the cases to the nearest police station. The officers confirmed that they only receive complaints from the public that any time they, the substation, forward a case to the Sarangay police station, it is either not investigated or simply not pressed further to court. Quiz on the claims that Amadou Gadjiko is still in the animal trading and butchering despite a ban from Jelma, the officers confirm that it remains the case. The officers, however, complain that there is a limited cooperation from the public, especially in helping the substation in information gathering. The substation, however, raised substantial challenges faced, such as lack of vehicle for patrol is done with motorbikes, because patrol is done with motorbikes. Absence of a perimeter fence to secure the base, similar personnel, only 8 officers, and small office space and accommodation. So from there, the team went to see Amadou Gadjiko and invited him to 𝒂𝒊𝒏 at the checkpoint for a meeting. A native of Saragubu, that's Mr. Gadjiko, Wulli East, this witness was adversely mentioned in the petition as well as in all oral testimonies from all public hearings organized by the committee on the matter. However, to allow natural justice to prevail, the committee availed him the opportunity to respond to allegations made against him. He submitted as follows. 1. that he is a businessman by trade, buying and selling or reselling livestock, horses and donkeys. He was licensed by the GLMA to operate both as a butcher and trader. However, his license was withdrawn in 2020 after a series of complaints lodged against him. Presently, at the time of the meeting, he operates using the 2018 GLMA license when we were in 2020. He denied receiving ransom from any individual to help in the search for lost animals. But when asked to respond to allegations that the chief of the district offered him ransom to locate his missing animals, Mr. Gajiko confirmed that indeed he once helped the chief to recover his lost animals, found with one hamme in Jara Sare Jami. Mr. Gajiko informed the committee on several interceptions he made to rescue animals from rustlers. This, he said, was done voluntarily. Mr. Gajiko confirmed to the committee that he would continue to operate in the business, even though his license had been revoked. He, however, agreed that operating as an animal trader without license is a violation of the law. But he insisted that he reapplied for a license but never been granted. He went on to inform the committee that he slaughtered 2 goats during the Ramadan of 2021 for business purposes only. Also a bull some months ago, earlier. It was put to him that both the petitioners and both witnesses met earlier informed the committee that he, Mr. Gajiko, has befriended and bribed officers in kind, including the CID officer at Sarangai. Mr. Gajiko confirmed that he normally gives a portion of meat he is selling to the officers on patrol, but not intended as an inducement. So the committee decided to visit the Sarangai police station because the people there adversely mentioned as the only police station in the Woodley region and adversely mentioned in previous testimonies. The committee visited the station and received testimonies from officers, including the CID officer Mandafa, Alhaj Mandafa Kamara, who was adversely mentioned by the petitioners and other witnesses. The team was received by ASP Ibrahim Kurubali, the officer in charge of the station. They submitted that the most common case reported to the station is animal theft. Once such a case is reported, according to the officer in charge, the suspects shall then be apprehended and an investigation mounted on the case for prosecution at the Basse Magistrate Court. The station establishes cordial relations with the Woodley Cattle Herders Association and their counterparts in Senegal, the Command Abubakar Association, that they sometimes make findings and report to the station. They, however, could not provide to the committee the number of reported cases from 2018 to 2021 when the committee requested. The officers of the station informed the committee that they are not familiar with the GLMA Act. As a result, they lack the required capacity to effectively enforce GLMA directives. During this engagement, the committee interacted with Alkali Mandafa, the CID officer, and adversely mentioned one who denied allegations that he is a friend to Amadou Gajiko. He also stated that he never benefited anything, such as a share of meat slaughtered, contrary to the claims made by Mr. Gajiko. Mr. Mandafa also informed the committee that he was never aware of the revocation of Amadou's license by GLMA. When quizzed on the number of cases involving Mr. Gajiko brought to the station, Mr. Mandafa confirmed that there was only one case which he investigated involving Amadou Gajiko. 3 sheep belonging to one Bakawali of Gunjur Koto were abducted, slaughtered, and thrown in the bush. Mr. Gajiko became the principal suspect. The officers noted acute shortages the station is faced with, such as lack of mobility vehicle for patrol and arrest, absence of communication devices, small office spaces, etc., etc. So the committee decided to have this meeting with Alpha Koli, that is the Deputy Police Commissioner of URR at the time, and team in Basse. The Basse Police Station also serves as the base for the URR Police Commissioner. The committee was received by Deputy Commissioner Alpha Koli and team. All reports on investigations from Sarangai Police Station end up at this station for processing and possible prosecution. Therefore, the committee organized this hearing to solicit testimonies on the issues raised in the petition. Mr. Kweli informed the committee that the major crimes registered in the area are petty theft or animal rustling and assault causing bodily harm. He was asked to provide details of animal theft which could not be immediately provided, and was asked to provide these details later. He was asked whether he and his staff were aware of the Jelma Act, to which he said they were not very aware, but the Jelma officer in the region came there a few times to brief them about it. He was asked what they did after the engagement with the GLMA officer. He answered that the problem is because the act is not under their purview to implement. He said what they recommended to the GLMA is to write a memorandum of understanding between them and the police so that they could implement the act, which he said had not been done. He was asked why they needed such a memorandum, since the Jelma Act was enacted by the National Assembly. He responded that that was what they were advised to do, citing an example of another act where they received a memo. Mr. Kweli was also asked whether he knew the problem between Amadou and the association. He responded in the positive because they came to report several times, but the station's hands were tied. When asked how many cases were prosecuted relating to animal theft since last year, that is 2019, he said he could not say, but he could remember some were prosecuted. He further stated that they have been taking Amadou Gajiko's cases to court, but the court threw them out for lack of substantive evidence. So the team also had a meeting with the then governor of URR, Mr. Sambaba. As the head of the security in the region, the governor was copied the petition from the association. Thus, the committee saw him as an important witness to beef up the investigations. He submitted as follows. Posted to the region in December 2018 as the deputy governor, in August 2020, he was appointed as the governor of the Upper River region. At the period, according to Mr. Ba, animal rustling was very prevalent in the URR. When asked why this was so prevalent and difficult to address then, the governor stated the police inaction to implement the GLMA Act. This led to a tussle between his predecessor, Mrs. 𝒕𝒉𝒊𝒔 Mani, and the former commissioner of police, Mr. Omar Dabo, and that was why the former commissioner was transferred from Basse for refusing to enforce the GLMA Act. When asked whether he knows the existence of the Woolly East Animal Protection Association, the governor said he is aware of them because they have lodged several complaints to him or to his office. When further asked whether he is aware that the police are unwilling to enforce the Jelma Act, he answered in the positive and narrated the experience of his predecessor. When asked whether he heard of Mr. Gajiko, he answered in the positive and stated that he, Mr. Gajiko, is the man that everyone complains about in the area. In subsequent years to date, this was reduced significantly. Quizzed on the reasons for this massive reduction, the governor stated that community mobilization and collaboration is the main factor. The establishment of the cattle farmer associations and their collaboration with counterparts in Senegal has helped in policing animals. Secondly, the role of security officers and the office of the governor from his predecessor attracted significant interest in curbing the menace. So the submission also from Mrs. 𝒕𝒉𝒊𝒔 Mani, former governor, was done at the Assembly Committee room. As for governor of the region, she was responsible for the coordination of the security units in the area. Accordingly, Mrs. 𝒕𝒉𝒊𝒔 stated that after receiving several complaints from the Woolly East Animal Protection Association, the Gambia Livestock Marketing Agency, and other traditional leaders in Woolly, she invited the police commissioner for URR, Omar Dabo, for a discussion on the matter. She advised Mr. Dabo to implement the decision of the GLMA to revoke the lancing of Mr. Amadou Gajiko and other individuals who have their lancing seized, as well as ensure all reported animal theft cases are adequately investigated. She stated that this was not honored by the commissioner, the police commissioner. She further described the police during her tenure as highly uncooperative, despite a series of meetings with the police commissioner, URR, Mr. Omar Dabo. This culminated to her writing a letter to the Ministry of Interior complaining of the police inaction to address the issue of animal theft. The committee had meeting with the said Mr. Omar Dabo, former police commissioner of URR, and also got his submission. As the commissioner adversely mentioned, as not very cooperative in supporting the natives to address the issue of animal theft, Mr. Dabo stated that animal theft was a prevalent case. He said after 3 months of his appointment, he met the Woodley East Animal Protection Association, where the issue of animal theft was reported as prevalent. And the issue of Amadou Gajiko was reported to him. He also stated that he was told that one CID officer, Alkali Mandafa, was not also supporting the locals in investigating reported animal theft. He promised them that he would do what is necessary with the law. He further stated that the committee that the police lacked the knowledge on the GLMA Act, therefore could not enforce the agency's decision. He informed the committee that he requested a memorandum of understanding with the agency, which was not forthcoming. He informed the committee that during his tenure, the police division did investigate issues reporting to them and pressed them further to court. However, he informed the committee that he could neither remember the number of animal theft reported cases during his time, nor could he remember the number of cases prosecuted. So Mr. Famara Jallo, former police officer, URR, was also invited. Mr. Jallo confirmed to the committee that he was appointed as a police commissioner in URR in 2016. Confirmed to the committee that he was appointed to address the issue of animal rustling in the Upper River region, particularly. Commissioner Jallo was summoned to shed light on an incident he was adversely mentioned in which he went to 𝒂𝒄𝒏 and pressured the community to hand over a motorbike allegedly used by the thief to carry 3 sheep on it. But when seen by night hunters, he threw away the bike and disappeared. The bike fell on the sheep and 2 of them died. The hunters then brought the bike and the sheep to the village, and when 𝒂𝒄𝒏 identified her dead 2 sheep, that farmer later came to the village and begged them to get her dues, but that nothing was done since then. Commissioner Jallo informed the committee that as the head of the police division, he brought the matter to the 𝒂𝒊𝒏 police station for a comprehensive investigation. The bike, he said, was booked at the station, as well as the creation of a case file. However, he informed the committee that before the conclusion of the investigation, he was transferred. So the committee also invited the director of the Gambia Livestock Marketing Agency. The Livestock Marketing Agency was established in 2008 and started operation in 2010 with the mandate to regulate livestock trade in the country. They register, they renew, and sometimes revoke licenses to practicing animal traders and butchers. Aside from its core mandate, the agency was also established to facilitate the participation of Gambians in the marketing of livestock. The criteria for the issuance of permit to dealers include A, the applicant must be a Gambian with a valid identity card. If non-Gambian, the person must hold a valid residential permit. B, the applicant must pay a fixed price as given by the agency. 3, the application must be countersigned by a representative of the local government, i.e. mayor, chief, or local authorities. D, must be of good character and free from conviction on any offense related to his job. Must abide by the provisions in the Agencies Act, and F must display the card upon request. G must also abide by regulations from the board. The agency also reserves the right to cancel any license if the holder violates any of the provisions in the Act or the regulations. The Director General informed the committee that Mr. Amadou Gajiko adversely mentioned and one Mr. Alhaji Sise, all from the Woodley East, had their license revoked following an application by the representative of the GLMA in URR on the 21st April 2020. This application came because of a discussion by the GLMA representative of Traditional Leaders, Livestock Owners Association, LOA, members in which these 2 persons, Mr. Amadou Gajiko and Mr. Alhaji Sise, were caught in dubious practices and theft. The DG GLMA described the police as highly uncooperative and cooperative in implementing the GLMA Act and decisions, despite all regional police stations in URR copied this cancellation letter. So the police commissioner, the inspector general was also invited to the committee room here for discussion, who agreed that any act promulgated by the National Assembly must be enforced by the police without any memorandum signed. He expressed disappointment that the police at Sarangai and Basse stations were failing to implement the act. He emphasized that officers on the ground should be aware of the JELMA and any other act. He promised that the failure to enforce these acts shall be addressed. Furthermore, the IGP further stated that all cases reported to stations must be adequately addressed. This goes with questioning. He also said he is aware of the issue of Mr. Gajiko, as it was reported to him by either JELMA or the Cattle Herders Association, and that with the presence of the police and the paramilitary at 𝒂𝒂𝒏, the general issue of animal rustling shall be comprehensively addressed. One of the ways it would be addressed, continued the IG, is to build the capacity on the ground and provide a patrol vehicle for the Sarangai station and investigate issues raised. He also promised to put up an investigative team on the issue of motorbike and other pending issues. And then the Minister of Interior, Mr. Yankuba J.L. Sonko, was also invited. The minister confirmed that there is a definite inaction from the police to address the problem in the region. He stated that the issue required a drastic action, replacing the entire police deployment in the region. Furthermore, he confirmed that the report of the investigation he ordered was not submitted to his office. The report of the investigation he ordered was not submitted to his office. He ordered the police to investigate the matter, but they have still not reported to his office on the findings of their report. That's what he is saying. As whether ignorance of the GMLA Act is a genuine excuse for not implementing the provisions of this Act, the minister stated that it is wrong from the officers for failing to implement these provisions. If the notice of any revocation from GLMA is effectively communicated, then there is no grounds for the police failure to implement the revocation. So the committee has their observations. I'll read that quickly. Arising from the submissions by the petitioners and stakeholders, the committee observed that the police officers in the station of Sarangai lack data and information on the number of cases investigated or prosecuted since 2017. Animal rustling is prevalent and the main crime in the Wuli region, yet a very low prosecution rate. This alarming conversion rate is not also helped by the absence of relevant data on the registered and investigated cases. 3. The police officers, as well as the investigators in the Sarangai police station and the 𝒂𝒂𝒏 PIU checkpoint, have very little or no knowledge on the provisions of the Gambia Livestock Marketing Agency Act. Therefore, could not implement those provisions. 4. Mr. Gajiko, Amadou Gajiko, who is adversely mentioned in the submissions, continued to trade in animals and remains a butcher despite the seizure of his documents by JELMA. 5. That the police in the region are incapacitated with lack of sufficient personnel, absence of a vehicle to apprehend suspects and carry out frequent patrols. Conclusion. Issues of animal theft is a threat to lives and livelihood of natives in many regions in the Gambia, including Wili region. In such an agrarian society, all measures should be taken to protect the properties of these livestock owners. That said, it is crucial that issues of public concern are brought to the Assembly for redress. This way, the Assembly gets closer to the people whose views and aspirations are represented. So the recommendations, Honorable Speaker, after receiving all the submissions from the witnesses, the committee recommends, 1, that the Basse Police Division and Sarangai Police Station institute an effective community policing and network that shall involve the Animal Protection Association, the chiefs, alkalolus, and other traditional leaders. 2, provision of patrol vehicles for the police station and the paramilitary in the area to ensure close tracking of animal rustlers and effect swift arrests. 3, the committee recommends also that capacity building for police officers in the region, especially on the provisions and implementation of JELMA Act to ensure a proper documentation and licensing of livestock dealers in the area and develop required knowledge on the implementation of the provisions of the Act. So the resolutions, Honorable Speaker, the committee came up with some resolutions, and two key resolutions are here, that Mr. Amadou Gajko, who was adversely mentioned in all the hearings in Wulli, and whose licensing have been revoked, be permanently banned from trade in animal and butchery. Two, that all reported cases of animal theft since 2017 be investigated by the police and be brought before a court of law. And Honorable Speaker, the list of witnesses have been there, and we are thanking them. They've done every effort. They left all the way from Wulli and come all the way to the assembly to meet the committee, and also met the committee in Wulli, and have done everything to ensure that information that is required by the committee gets available to the committee. And we thank, like we said, we thank the assembly authorities as well, the office of the speaker, and the secretary that were with us. They have done a lot of work. As you can see, the report is very comprehensive. We thank members for giving us their listening here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Wulli East and Chairman of the committee. Any second honorable members? Honorable Member for Kiang West.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Firstly, I want to thank the committee through the chairperson. But then, before I go further, let me second the motion, and I would love to also have my input on the report. Honorable Speaker, I thank the committee chairperson and the members of the committee to provide us this information. We don't have much to say about the report because we've seen recommendations and the resolutions, and there are two resolutions which are very important. And I think those resolutions should be sufficient for any further debate here. And first, it says, I want to go through the resolutions. It says, resolution that Mr. Amadou Gajko, who was adversely mentioned in all the hearings in Wulli, and whose license has been revoked, be permanently banned from trading in animal and butchery. Two says that all reported cases of animal thefts since 2017 be investigated by the police and be brought before the court of law. These are definitely sufficient. But then I want to ask a few questions. Honorable Speaker, I have gone through the report, and from the presentation, I want to look at only two areas other than the resolution. That is the submission by the Inspector General of Police and the hearing with the Minister of Interior. I think these two hearings or submissions were evident enough that the police have failed their duties, have failed to do what they're supposed to do. Look at when this case happened. When I look at the petition, I think this petition has been minuted to the committee on the 19th of June 2020, because it reads, I recommend the petition committee to look into the matter as the petition has met the eligibility criteria, cell phone number and the date on the 19th of 6th month, 2020. It's been a long time from that date to now. So, if this matter has not been addressed from 2020 to date, in fact, the thieves might have left this country. Because once they know that the matter is under investigation and anything could happen, they might have left this country by now. So I want to ask the question, what prolonged this matter until 2023? From 2020 to date, because this can affect any constituent. And we know how important livestock are to our people when it comes to the rural areas. These are their livestock, they use them for agriculture, they use them for many livelihood activities. They sell them, to pay bills for students, they sell them to take care of their medical bills, they use them for many activities. So if this matter was at hand since 2020, 2021, 2020, 2023, I don't know if the chair could help us. What prolonged the matter until today? So these two submissions that I wanted to look at, which was the submission by the Inspector General of Police, the submission by the Inspector General of Police, agreed that any act promulgated by the National Assembly must be enforced by the police without any memorandum signed. He expressed disappointment that the police at Sarengay and Basse stations are failing to implement the act. They failed to implement the act already. The Inspector General has confirmed that his officers on the ground, his officers that he posted on the ground has failed to implement this act. He has confirmed that already. This is what the report is saying. So what happens when they fail to do that? The most important thing is to put those officers to tax now. Because the Inspector General confirmed that my officers at this source station and source station have failed to implement the act which has been promulgated from this parliament. What do we do after that? Then from there, that is a question, Mr. Chair. I don't know what comes after that. The Inspector General has confirmed that his officers on ground has failed to implement the act, which is trying to protect another important component of our lives. So the Minister of Interior also, the minister confirmed that there are indefinite inaction from the police. He confirmed that already. There are definite inaction from the police to address the problems of the region. He stated that the issue required a drastic action, replacing the entire police development in the region, So we want to know the progress of this. Has this happened? He has recommended that. Has this happened, replacing the entire police development in the region? We want to know whether that has happened or not. So, Honorable Speaker, I think these are two confirmations that I want to do my submission on. The Inspector General has already confirmed this with us, and from the report, we have seen the culprit accusing of giving, some portion of, the material he theft from people to the officers, which is definitely not welcoming. It is not pleasant to listen to. So on that few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I beg to take my seat. Thank you very much.
Honorable members, it has been moved and seconded. Let me now put the question. It has been moved and seconded that this Honorable Assembly do consider the report of the Standing Committee on Public Petitions on the petition report from the Woolly Woolly East Animal Protection Association. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Now, any honorable member who wish to take the floor may now do so, beginning with the honorable member for J1 constituency.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And thank you to the committee headed by the chairman. Honorable Speaker, going to the report, the petition that was sent to the Assembly, to your office here, is about investigation in action of the police with regards to stop animal theft in the region. But looking at the petitions and then going through the report and the witnesses that were invited, both the police and one Mr. Gajigo were advisedly mentioned in the report. But looking at the conclusion of the resolution that we have recommended by the committee, there is no way that they recommend about the action that needs to be taken against those police that were mentioned. So I don't know why, maybe the committee can explain why those police officers were not, there is no recommendation about them. What I'm only seeing here is to tell them to take their cases immediately to the court, but there is no action that needs to be taken to those people that were mentioned, being the CRD officer and other person. What action have you, what did you recommend on them? What should the IG do about those individuals? Honorable Speaker, this about the fuller man, Mr. Gajigo. It's very clear here. But my concern here, Honorable Speaker, both the committee and then the witness, there is nowhere in the report that can clearly show that Amadou was responsible of A, B, C, and D. So for me, I'm not seeing that guilt of Amadou that he was apprehended with this, he was seen with this, he was seen with that. They're only suspecting Amadou of doing A, B, C, and D. And then my other question is, why were they giving Amadou the money to go and help them recover their animals? Why were they giving him the money? I would have suggested that they would have given somebody like Samba Diallo money to follow Amadou and then see how best he can get Amadou to be guilty of the crime that they are accusing him. But on this report, I don't see anywhere they say that Amadou was guilty of this crime. So whether the fuller man was doing his own means to penetrate these people, I don't know. Maybe the fullers can respond to that. But Honorable Speaker, to be honest... Sorry, point of observation, sir. We are talking about national issue. So can you withdraw fullers and... I mean, do I allow you to observe me?
Honorable member, when you make a point of observation, you look at the member. If he sits down, you comment. If he does not sit down, please, you don't talk. Please.
Thank you very much. I'm not allowing him to observe me, so he can sit down. Honorable Speaker, I think the issue of Mr. Gajigo needs to be looked at properly. Gajigo's license was seized, and he made it very clear to the committee that he is going to continue his actions. He will be slaughtering and be selling animals. What was the reason why Amadou said no, and what was behind Amadou's powers to say that he's not going to stop his business? When your license is seized, that means that you should not operate anymore. But his license was seized, and Amadou continued operating in the front of what? The police, and I know they were aware because they were informed that his license was seized. But he made it very clear to the committee that he will continue operating. But with that also, I didn't see anywhere they say that this action was taken, though it was since 2020, and we are in 2023. Maybe there are developments that we need to know, because this is a report that was since 2020, and we are now in 2023. Maybe there might be changes, but based on the report, there is nowhere they say that after our investigation, we came with the result that Amadou has already ceased operating. But Amadou very, very clear that he will not cease operating; he will continue operating, and it was very dangerous for Amadou to continue operating. Honorable Speaker, about the act GLMA Act, I think it's important that the police to have it. I don't know where they have it, but there's nowhere they said it was given to the police. Because they said they are not aware of the act. They need to know about the act before they act on certain issues. So I don't know where the police got the act from the livestock to give it to the police, or they have a training with them to affect them with the act. I think it's very important for them to have a training with the police, those within that area, to help them to know what they need to do. These are two countries, between Gambia and Senegal. As far as they had an MOU between the two countries, it was also very important for these two countries to come together also as a team. If Amadou is the very one that they are talking of, maybe if you take it from Gambia, he take it to Senegal. Is there anyone in Senegal who has one reported to the police that we saw Amadou with this? Because Amadou is the only one mentioned in the report that he's the suspect, because I call him a suspect. Because there is nowhere he said Amadou was caught and he's guilty. He's only a suspect. So, Honorable Speaker, I think it will be very important for the committee to look into that and then also advise the police to act fast. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Joshua. I now invite the Honorable Member for Brikama North and Minority Leader.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I would like to join my colleague for thanking the committee for doing this very important work, acting on petition from a desperate community that have seen nowhere but the National Assembly to address the situation that actually is not affecting the community of Yuara precisely, Wuli, or the Gambia as a whole. As entailed in the conclusion, issues of animal theft is a threat to lives and livelihood of natives in many regions in the Gambia, including Wuli region. The petition came to the National Assembly after several efforts by the community engaging the respective authorities in the region, but to no avail. This is very, very serious. Where communities involve and engage their authorities who should be enforcing laws to protect the lives and property of the community become so desperate that they have to file a petition to the National Assembly to address that. It's very sad. Such can happen where institutions that should be enforcing laws totally fail. And such can make a country to be a failed nation if we allow situations of this nature to continue. I feel very sad for our own people to express the willingness and cooperation of the security of Senegal when they sign an agreement jointly to address cattle rustling. That on the side of the Gambian security, they are very incooperative. That is very sad. And also to note, out of 11 cases, there are 5 that came from the Gambia, only 1 was prosecuted. What happened to the remaining 4? And for the key suspect to always beat his case, even whereas my license has been revoked, I will continue to do the business, nobody can stop me. That means he has the license, even whereas it is revoked, to do that dirty work with the support one would believe with certain authorities who are behind him. To an extent, the police authority or authorities in the region will tend to ignore the enforcement of the law, purportedly to say that they are ignorant. This is not an act of ignorance. The act, what will require an MOU in the enforcement or implementation of a law. I don't believe that that can be an act of ignorance. Of course, the man was so strong because I have reason to believe that he has those security behind him, that he, even whether he will not attribute that to be inducement, whatever he is given, if he is not taking that to be inducement, one can calculate and conclude that is inducement given to the police officers. These are reasons why they are enacting on the series of complaints that are lodged by the communities. Honorable Speaker, I think the recommendation and resolution should highly take note of the inaction of the police. I think that should be reflective. There are evidence. Deliberately the police were inactive. What were the reasons behind that? That should be highly captured in the recommendation and the resolution to address that. That failure of the police to act is a violation of the law, and there should be police for that. That should not be ignored. The resolution banning the key suspect from the trader. Already, there are reasons to believe that he was engaging in the business illegally. And what do we say about that? Already license is revoked, and he is doing the business illegally. Should he go scot-free for 3 years now? And I'm sure, I have reason to believe that he is still continuing. If he could have the guts to ignore, what assurance are we going to get for him to admit the ban that we are about to adopt? The actions that he was doing, violating the law for ignoring revocation of the license, he should not go scot-free. He should be punished for that. And the police in general, right down from the Inspector General of Police, he is aware. They said they are going to investigate. Have they investigated? And what action have they taken? They cannot be waiting for the report on the petition and then try to be acting. In fact, when they are aware of the report, the petition to the National Assembly, that should be alarming. And if they were inactive, should make them proactive. But since then, what action have they been taking? The Inspector General and his team also have questions to answer. This is not only about URR. This is about the Gambia. Cattle rustling is very rampant. People are even scared now to rear their animal because you spend all your resources to raise only just one day. They come and take everything away. It's disheartening. those who should stand by them and protect this property, for whatever reason, are conniving with these people to do this serious act. Honorable Speaker, the National Assembly should judiciously act on this report. Not only acting on the report, but to make sure after the adoption of this report, serious action is taken, right down from the police to all the authorities in URR, and then the key suspect for that matter, wherever he may be, the 𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒏 man. The 𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒏 man, I think should be reprimanded. Forthwith. That guy should not go scot-free for him to be walking freely in URI by now. It's known to everybody. But why is he having the liberty to be doing that? Honorable Speaker, let us not waste time to adopt this report. And then, honestly, as quickly as possible to make sure it is implemented, investigations start honest, even from the police right down to the key suspect. All of them should be investigated. And due diligence is taken on this to stop cattle wrestling in this country for good. On that note, Honorable Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minority Leader and Member for Brikama North. Sometimes, honorable members, I tend to sympathize with members of various committees. A lot of work you go to do a lot of work to find facts, all geared towards finding solutions to our people's problems. But it looks like we don't have enough legal framework, both in the standing order and other things, that will make us hold people at ransom and hold people to task and make follow-ups on these issues. Standing Order 3800 talks about, after the report's laying, relevant minister should come and respond to whatever queries or whatever we have. Failing to do that, it may be seen as an affront. I think we should all now begin to brainstorm so that the time spent on these things, we should be able to have a framework. Let's all try to brainstorm. So that after all the debates, various members made various suggestions, some of which are not captured in the debate, in the document. And then all these things, if computed by either a committee or a task force, whatever system we have to put in place, so that committee work is put into record and is enforced to make sure that some of those lapses don't happen, and those found wanting also are meant to pay the price. Because all what you have been saying so far is that something had happened, it continued for long, and nothing is being said about those people. So I think we need to, all of us, to brainstorm on the way forward for these things. My office and the office of I will engage the office of the clerk and the legal people, so we look at ways of strengthening your work and ensuring that these lapses don't continue to recur, and where they are false, we monitor them to make sure that they are corrected. I now invite the Honorable Member for Nyamina Dankunku.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, let me also join my colleague to thank the committee for a job well done. Honorable Speaker, in general, if you looked at the petition, there is a lot of accusation between the police, 𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒏, and then the community. The police are telling us the community is not actually helping them. And Honorable Speaker, this is why it seems that the report would be very difficult for the National Assembly to deal with, especially when issues of accusation and allegation are captured in a report. Because right now we are speaking, most of these people we are talking here, we are talking about, they are not the committee. Maybe the committee may question them to that level, but as within the plenary here, we don't have access to those people. Honorable Speaker, if you looked at the first hearing of the chief, if you could permission me to read, and then I would take it from Chief Juara said, they have done everything to persuade the law enforcement officers to help them. The tide without avail. He said the police commissioner are not willing to protect the property and owners, but those bent on pillaging the animal in the district. He mentioned one Mr. Amadou Gajigo. Honorable Speaker, then you go to the police also. The police also make telling us actually the communities are not actually helping them, especially when it comes to doing their job. So this is why I wonder how would what will be the procedure now the National Assembly will take, because when two conflicting people alleging one another, what are we going to do? We have seen one of Mr. Gajigo's case was taken to court again, and then the court throw it out saying, okay, there is no evidence against Mr. Gajigo. And if you go to the report where they are saying Mr. Gajigo, I would ask the committee to help us, where he collected series of amount of money from people. What do we do to substantiate that one? Was he present, or there was a proof of receiving money? All these are issues that make the work very, very difficult now. Because for me, I believe all is about alleging one another. I don't know whether when the committee, whether when you met these people, when they were making this allegation of giving money to Mr. Gajigo, whether Gajigo himself was there to say, yeah, I accept getting it, am I receiving or not? Then, Honorable Speaker, as I mentioned earlier, if you look at the report, according to the report, the police have failed us. Gilma, that give license to Gajigo, have failed us, because in the eye of the committee, he told them whether I have license, I don't have license, I will still operate. So I don't know where is Mr. Gajigo banking himself. And then it is a matter that needs to be looked at. If our entire security unit, both the police, the immigration, the PIU, cannot control one person in URA, then therefore the issue of that person must be looked at. I don't know. I don't think he is banking on the security forces. I don't know what does he have. But this is only one person. The whole of URA. There is nothing they can do. So whether he is operating by means, I don't know. But his issue must be looked at. Must be looked at very seriously. So, Honorable Speaker, now my submission is going to be just a very few. Because I looked at it in general, there is a lot of accusation with all the parties. So I don't know what the Assembly should do, whether we should still refer the matter to the police for further investigation. I think if you look at Standing Order 125, B, 128, action in relation to petition. Then that is B. Refer the petition to a minister, vice president, or president of the Republic of the Gambia, any other committee of the National Assembly or other person, body, for them to take action, such as they shall consider necessary. So in this case, we have an issue. Now the matter is actually within, it was within the Committee of the National Assembly, and they have reported back. And then we have seen a lot of counter-accusation. And I don't think the National Assembly will be the body that will prove allegation and other things. Then I think we need to look at it carefully. Then we go to the resolution. When I looked at the resolution and then looking what the report is saying, I was saying resolution 1 is a little bit selective. Because if all the parties involved in this matter fail their responsibility, then resolution 1 should not fall only to Mr. Gajigo. If our security forces, as the minority leader just said, have failed their responsibility, Jilma have failed their responsibility, then resolution 1 is a little bit selective. It should go to an extent to make sure that all those involved, because in this case now, for me, I believe the Kasul Rasilin, even our security unit are involved. Because we are told they caught them, they will take them, and then at the end of the day, they will be free. So meaning, the reason why it is still they are persisting is all of them that are contributing to the issue. Honorable Speaker, on that note, I thank you, and then I thank the committee also for doing their job. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Nyamina Dankunku. I now invite the Honorable Member for Kombo East.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, I must join my colleagues to thank the mover of the motion and for the job well done and a report well entailed. I know he's from Wuli and that it has a special treatment of the report from him. Honorable Speaker, I have some few observations as mentioned in previous speakers, that is the Honorable Member for Nyamina Dankunku said, as he said. Honorable Speaker, looking into the report, the resolutions that the committee came up with, to me, it looks to be so selective. 1, 2, it is very, very short compared to what they have already, the information that they have gathered, the number of witnesses that they have engaged. Honorable Speaker, to remind this House, URR has some security lapses, and this is evident to one of the lapses that they are going through. I have a personal experience in that area, especially the Sarengai police station. They are incapacitated. By fact, they may want to do their job as they may be required, but resource-wise, there are lack of resources, there are lack of personnel that would help them do this. Because looking at that area, that Wuli area is a very porous area. Their borders are porous, and that people can enter in and out anytime, and the communities are dispersed. And so, we need to gather much more information to be able to come into a resolution that will fit this House very well. Looking at the 2 resolutions that the committee came up with, to me, I suggest the House to reconsider this. Let this report be redigested, reprocessed, and then be brought back to the House for a decision. Because upon hearing all these witnesses and the information that they have taken from different parties, and each party is accusing the other party of failing their responsibilities. I'm seeing it to be much wider than we are seeing it now. The committee is seeing it. So on that note, Honorable Speaker, I would urge this Honorable House to reconsider this report and we reassign this petition to a further joint committee, like the Defense, Security, and then that of the Petition Committee, to get further into this, to be able to engage other parties. We've seen the police have been accused, and many, according to the reports have stated it might yield out into a sentimental approach of the whole report, but also looking into the community's participation in trying to cooperate with the security personnel is another thing. We all know they've been engaging the so-called major suspect, Mr. 𝒂𝒂𝒏𝒂𝒏, inducing him with money to be able to rescue their lost cattle and the like. That thing is also out of order. They could have done it in a much professional way that will victimize those people that neglected their own duties to be doing it. But now they are also taking it extrajudiciously to make sure that they recover their lost properties in an illegal way, like trying to encourage this said suspect to be walking into this kind of business. And again, banning him for not trading would also mean another thing. We haven't got into any evidentical approach that will qualify us to ban him. So on that note, Honorable Speaker, I would urge the members to consider it so the committee could rethink and check into the resolutions that are put in to widen them so that all the suspected parties be involved. On that note, I thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Member, for Combo East. But I think that observation or suggestion can only be on a motion, because we are now debating the merits. You are talking about putting aside the report and having a joint committee to look at it to do some more investigation. That one, I don't think that is feasible as you are doing it. Honorable Member for 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏𝒆𝒍.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I thank the committee, the Petition Committee, on this much elaborated report. Honorable Speaker, I think it is high time we assist our people, more so the provincial Gambia. This is a befitting report done by the committee. But I'm shocked and dumbfounded. The circumambulation going on in the URR, especially position holders. The cry of the chief is ignored. The cry of the alcalos are ignored. The cry of the citizenry who owns those cattle are also ignored. But the elite forces within the police are pampered, and 𝒂𝒔 go through the same. These are issues that sometimes you cannot understand who is who. A respectful local head, like the chief himself said, if you go to page 6 of the petition, where the chief, the heading indicates hearing in the borough Kanda 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏 chief and the alcalde of the village districts. First, second, third paragraph. It says, Chief Jawara said, I have done everything to pursue the law enforcement officers to help them stem the tide within avail. He said the police commissioner was not willing to protect the property's owners, but those been in prolonging the animals in the district. He said, mention one Amadou 𝒂𝒔 as the ring leader of the thieves who claim completely supported by the police. So meaning, this is a local leader, a chief, alleging, putting blames on the police. And when you go into the report details, the commissioner also spoke But he was speaking in parables. You cannot substantiate who is who. But the alcalo, the chief, the police heads, each and every one of them claiming this and that. But the whole scenario, and again the chief went further. He said, at one time pleaded with Amadi Gajigo to help him recover 13 of his stolen sheep and goods. Amadu called him one day and said he found them in Senegal and asked the chief to collect them. Accordingly, he went to that village in Senegal border and found them exactly where he was directed. I think this is a done deal, where today Amadu should be in mile 2. If proper measures are put in place. The chief will not insinuate and said a lie to this committee. And these are vividly. You told me it's there, I went to the place and I found those animals. It was taken. Whether the chief had involved the police and said, this is what Amadou told me. And I'm going to this area exactly, and these are the animals. Because these are things that you cannot even substantiate certain issues. The chief will say this, Alcala will say this, the villagers will say this, the police also will say this. So I think the whole issue of this report, we need to put string measures to end this trial in our people, most of the people of URR. I don't say this not happening in other areas, but I think the police should show that pragmatism. And these are weak administrative style that the police is showing to the dwellers of the URR. And furthermore in the report it says replacement of commissioners to replace them another one. Yes, still things are ongoing. And the IGP also said he is aware. So now, from the IGP down to the last police officer in URR should be put to book. So, where are we heading to? So it means I own my animals. I will even be afraid. People who come and hustlers will take them away without no protective measures. So I believe the country is going into a trial in terms of security for our own properties. Animals that are very helpful for the communities. In the provincial Gambia, if you have issues, you sell them and make your ends meet. If they are taken and you don't have anybody who will stand and support you, it means we are doomed as a nation. And I think it is the right time that we should act to make sure we stop this act of playing game. And again, Gajigo was even been reprimanded. The lancing was seized. And he happily stood and said, I will continue. That guy has powers. He is protected. And he has been guided. And he has forces at the behind that are pushing him that we are there for you and we will support you. So I think the committee, we want you to go into the nitty-gritty. Go into detail. Who are those forces? Find out. We want to know. It's not only a committee reporting. Gajigo said this, whatever. Dig into it. We have to know. So if all of these things are going, I think, we have a system failure as a result of poor network. A system failure. Our network is kaput. Most of the URRN. So I think it's high time we help our people. We help our neighbors. If you rearing animals is a threat to you, what are we insinuating? Tomorrow somebody can even come and pick you in your own house and treat you as the way he's supposed to. And the saddest point of all is the Senegalese security are more cooperative than that of the Gambia. It's a sorry nation. It's a sorry state. Foreign securities cooperated than us. Our own people are complaining. Yes, it is ignored. So I want, Honorable Speaker, in the last part where they've also captured their resolutions, I think they should add enough. The police head, from the IGP down to the last private police officer in the URR, should face a lot of scrutiny in issues that are happening at the URR. It's not only the Gajigo and also saying, if I may read, that all report cases of animal theft 2017 be investigated by the police and be brought before the court. Which court? Which court? Which court are they going to bring? When you cannot do the needful of what you are seeing, hearing, people are complaining, chiefs are complaining, alcalas are complaining, societal areas are also complaining. Yes, still, which court? And now, as the IGP, you reported this case. You are telling police are saying mobility problem, communication problem. Has the IG involved and said, okay, as at now, I am preparing a task force purposely for this trial. Committee, we want you to help us. Has that happened? If it didn't happen now, it means the IG also is complicit in this. He has to be brought to book. We should not be compromising issues. That's why sometimes I feel so sorry, in issues where you can now be massaging the democratic. These are people that should be brought to book. Immediate arrest. They should face trial. And all of them should even be abolished from their position. Administrative lapses of security should not be entertained. We are entertaining too much. I'm very sorry. For us, leadership, we set samples. Today they see with red color, tomorrow black, indignant, violent. You should not be complete and say, okay, I think I should be doing this X, Y, Z. Entertain people. Then one day even kill you in your own house. And this is exactly, if my animals are taken away, protected, I ask, go to XYZ place, you find them. The chief went to that particular place and found those animals. Today that particular guy is also working freely and now saying, I am going to continue my sailing there, even if the license is revoked. So I think the committee, you did a wonderful job, but the police should be part and parcel of this resolution. Not only Gajigo. Gajigo has forces. And I think this man is fully protected. And I don't know of age, how old is he? I think we could also be helping these issues to see what are the issues that are concerned. So on that note, I believe this is a national call. And it's as important as our life. Today, I be at this assembly. My father, mother, sons and daughters having cattle are not comfortable in their villages. I'll be representing them here. So I think we need action. And action should be taken now. Both the IGP to the last dot police officer in URA should face proper scrutiny. They have to vomit all these issues. It's not only saying, the police said this, whatever, vehicles. It happens in Fonyi, Honorable Speaker, where the commissioner had these issues of, theft and other issues. Immediately he sanctioned. A joint operation was commissioned, including us. We also contributed. It was a clear moment. That area is flawless. Why not URR? So if securities are ready to joke, I think it's high time. Both the chief also did extra mile and wrote to the Permanent Secretary of Interior. The minister also is aware. So if you cannot support the people, whatever, you think will be entertaining drumming and dancing? Drumming and dancing in security is forbidden. We need action. And we need action to make sure we remedy this problem of URR. On that note, I thank you, and with sadness, I'm sitting down. Thank you very much.
I now invite the Honorable Member for Sami.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Thank you very much, Petition Committee. I think this is a very important committee work. Honorable Speaker, what we are looking at is animal theft, which is common, is not only Woolly. Woolly is bordered with Sandu. Sandu is bordered with Sami. This is national issue, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, when I look at this report, I was very sad for the simple fact that if we see we have those securities, it's to protect us and our properties. When we look at the report, it is clearly stated that those securities fail. They fail. Honorable Speaker, this man, Ahmadu Kajiko, I don't know where he is. whether he is still in Wuli or not. We should know where he is. Whether he is in Janjambure, that guy should not see light anymore. Hence, for how many years he has been disturbing the communities. The communities are tired of. This is why they reported the matter to the National Assembly. Otherwise, they would not come to the National Assembly. But they are fed up. This is why they said, let us come to the National Assembly so that our problems will be solved. Honorable Speaker, you know, this report should not have been laid here when the IGP is not here, or the Minister of Interior is not here, or the other senior officials are not here. They should hear what we are saying. They should be here. Left to me alone, we should in fact, leave this report until they come and sit down and hear. But it seems most of them, they don't listen to GRTS or other things. They don't know. Honorable Speaker, sometimes we should act. Communities should not be only coming every time reporting. As a leader, when people come and start reporting to you, why not deploy all those people who are not doing what is expected of them? Rather than one man disturbing the whole Gambia. Because this is the whole Gambia. As Mandinka said, if these people cannot do anything with him, let them deploy others and take others there. Those securities at Sarankai, if they cannot do anything with this man, let them move them there and bring others. But you just feel people always coming, this man is doing that, this man. You see what the man is saying? He said he gives me the best part of the meat. That's what the report is saying. The best part of the meat, he gives it to those securities. And they themselves are also saying that, no, that is not true. They are just accusing each other. You cannot know which is which. Left to me alone, Honorable Speaker, this man, Amadou, he should not see light anymore. And those securities that are involved, they should also be called upon to testify why they cannot perform their duties. Why? If not, Honorable Speaker, we'll be always complaining. If I'm at a position and people come and say, oh, Honorable Cisse is not doing this, why not take me out from that and bring in somebody who can, take and at least solve people's, affairs, rather than leaving that person there. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Honorable Member for Shani Mentere.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Also, I'll thank the Petition Committee and the mover of the motion, and of course, someone who seconded. And Honorable Speaker, I will ask the mover of the motion, how was Mr. Gajigo able to recover the chief's lost animals which were found with one hammer in Sarajami? Why not others? This I'll ask. Because I think I'll concur with the honorable member of Fonyi Kansala that there is a deal. If Gajigo could find the chief's animals, why not others? When he did not give him a penny to recover his animals. And when others are giving them money to recover their animals, or some giving meat to police as stated in the report. I would like to know. Honorable Speaker, also in the report, it says there is a Gilma officer who was resided in or is residing in the region. What is the relationship or now relationship with the Gilma and the police of that region? Honorable Speaker, sometimes it seems we keep on talking to ourselves here. I'll concur with the Honorable Member of Sami. I think this is a very important report that we could have invited the Minister of the Land Ministry in the plenary here, at least to listen to this important report. It's a threat to the nation. This is a threat to the nation because this is affecting an entire region who are not sleeping because of their animals. It is an animal today. It could be a human being tomorrow. Who knows? I think it is important, or it would have been important for this National Assembly to invite the ministry and the IG at least to listen to this important report. Honorable Speaker, I think these are the 3 questions that I have to ask the mover of the motion. Thank you.
Honorable Member for Woolly East, you have a very important motion before us. Because anytime we are almost coming to the end, more name tags will come out. And we are now going into almost 20. Honorable Member for Lower Badibu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I would also want to join my colleagues in thanking the committee responsible for this work, that is the Petition Committee. Honorable Speaker, I would say I am dumbfounded after realizing that the security forces that are meant or supposed to protect life and property are reluctant to do so, with the pretext that they don't have sound knowledge in Gilma's Act. It's so pathetic, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I have the belief that if the police are out to carve or stop these menace in that part of the country, they would have do so at the right time. Honorable Speaker, Amadou must have the backing of somebody. Otherwise, Amadou would not have survived for so long without being apprehended by the security forces. Many a time, security forces have been mentioned in this report, which is of course before us. But some of my honorable colleagues, of course, are also with the view that security forces are partly to be blamed. I am also in line with those National Assembly members who believe that part of the blame should be shifted to the security forces, especially the police at that part of the country. Why? Because these people are trained to protect life and property, and people have been lodging their complaints before them. Nothing has been done about it. Most of a very highly important people like chiefs and the Alcalde laid their complaint before these police officers. Nothing has been done. Why? Is Amadou a lord in this menace? Let us ask ourselves this question. Is he a lord in this act? I believe Amadou must have been protected by some people. And that shouldn't be. The people or the police who have been posted to this part of the country have been paid by taxpayers. And as a result of that, they should make sure that they protect life and property. This is very serious, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Speaker, if people happen to lose hope completely in our in the security forces, where are we heading to? Where are we going to bank on? Where are we going to lean on in terms of security? These people are, of course, living on these animals for their survival. If those animals are not being protected by the police, what do you think these people would do? And they said it, in the report that they don't want to resort to violence. This is so sad. I would love to talk about it, but most of the key points has been already highlighted by my colleagues. On that note, Honorable Speaker, I will rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Lower Badibu. I now invite the Honorable Member for Talindinkunya.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Let me also join my colleagues to thank the members of the committee. Before I move on, I think I want to highlight an error here. I think I saw allegiance, I think it's meant to be alleged. Allegations, but when asked to respond to allegations, page 10, the second to last paragraph. Gajiko. Yes, so Mr. Speaker, I would like to begin with the conclusion of the committee. But for me, particularly looking at the alarming issues raised in the report and looking at the conclusion of the committee, I kind of don't see what their position is with regards to the things highlighted in the information on the conclusion is inadequate. I see only 3 lines regarding all the issues that are raised in the report. The succeeding other 3 lines talks about general issues, which are very important because it said it is crucial that the issues of public concern are brought to the assembly for redress. So it means these concerns are brought to the address for redress because why? These people have these challenges. They've pursued all other avenues without no redress. Now their final port of call is the assembly. This is where their hopes lie now. That is why we should not leave any stone unturned with regards to making sure that these issues and challenges are addressed for good. And that is why I believe the position of the committee should be very bold and strong with regards to its findings and the actions that are to be taken with regards to resolutions and even recommendations. We cannot afford to be complacent in this kind of situations because the livelihoods of our people are at stake. And the institution that is responsible to provide protection and security to the people is defaulting here with regards to what has been raised here. I beg to differ with the opinion or with the submission that there is no revelation or the recommendation of the committee with regards to Mr. Gajigo is selective. I beg to differ seriously because there are a series of allegations against this particular person. And then you have almost 9 people who are saying they have paid money to this particular person to go and search for their stolen goods. Who is this Gajiko? He's a trader, fine. But what warranted people to pay him money to go and search for? How many people are in URR, are in that particular region? How many thousands of people are there? How many other traders are there? Common sense tells everybody there is a reason why they are doing it. If he is not the thief, he is dealing with a network. If he's able to be paid and he can able to trace a thief's goods, and other people are paying, more than almost 8 people are paying him money to go and find their district. Then you know the thief. He actually knows the thief, or the thieves, or he is part of a network, or knows the network. And with all this, these are evidences that the committee should probe further to ensure that they get to the bottom of all of this. I was expecting a recommendation for the prosecution, because we're not saying it's guilty. No one is guilty until proven guilty by court. But the detail, the evidence is provided sufficient enough to take the matter to court. The committee, I expect them to instruct the IGP to build up a case against Gajiko and take him to court to be prosecuted. With all this, these people can go there and testify. Because I don't feel it's just sufficient to just ask Mr. Gajiko to respond to his allegations and that would suffice. No. But even in his responses, some of the responses he gave almost confirms what other people are saying. I gave meat. He confirms that. He said, He made several interceptions he made to rescue animals from rescuers. He rescued animals from rescuers. He rescued animals, but he don't provide the rescuers to the police. If you rescue from a thief, what should you do with the thief? Take the thief to the police. He rescued from the rescuers. How did he find them? If he's not part of them, if he's not among them, how did he find them? And when he rescued, what did he do? With regards to their information, informing the police their location. You already know where the thief is. You go and take the stolen properties and you protect this. You refuse to reveal the location of the thief. Are you not a thief? So these are evidence. He said he normally do help, but he doesn't receive money. You see the police? So I was expecting that the committee recommend, in fact, instruct the IGP, not even to ask, instruct the IGP to build up a case based on what is provided and develop it and take it to court. The issue with former OIC going for a motorbike that thieves used to steal goods. He collected it. He confirmed it. But he said he was transferred. Where is the bike? I was expecting the committee, based on the powers of the committees, to request for diaries from the police stations. Police diaries, to confirm whether that OC reported that particular, file it in the diary of the district. Because the committee can have that, based on outstanding orders 101. The request for diaries to confirm whether those because the police also have a registry of stolen goods. But then you confiscated those things, you bring it at the police station. After 1 year, the goods are no longer to be seen. The properties are no longer to be seen. People even confiscated horses, bring it to the station, and it's no longer to be seen. Cases that have been reported, and the committee also reported about data. Data, meaning these police stations are not recording the cases. Or have you requested, you do not see it? If you request it, you should request all those station diary, to look at the cases they are receiving and how the actions they have taken in all those cases. Because the diaries has to goes along with all of those things. Who reported the case? What action did the police officer took? And what are the findings and all these things? We should do things conclusively, comprehensively, because that is what you said in your conclusion. This way, the National Assembly gets closer to the people whose views and aspirations we represented. So we have to look at this case properly. Although it's been 3 years, but still there is a case to answer, because we are doing it for prosperity. We are making sure that our institutions that are responsible to do a particular job do it to the fullest. We can allow corruption everywhere, but we cannot allow corruption in our police institutions. When they are in cohort with criminals, we are all in danger. No one is safe when the police are corrupted. So it's not just enough for IGP to tell us they are expected to know. Are they trained? They say ignorance of the law is no excuse. That's just for the common civilian. But the police, who's armed, our nation, he should be armed with all the laws of this country. There's no excuse to say that they should be aware. They should be trained to know every act that leaves this National Assembly and to know what punitive actions to take in any circumstance they find themselves adequately. They are not supposed to be aware. They should know how to execute every act. If the IGP is telling us that he is disappointed, that's a disgrace. That's because we are having people in uniform who don't know their job, or they are compromising their job. This is serious. So I think I saw him somebody saying they should be redeployed. That's not enough. Somebody who doesn't have capacity or who is culpable, you take him from one region to another region. It's just like a continuation of the same thing. So deployment is not easy. They must do the job or leave the job for somebody who can do it. Definitely. We cannot be complacent. If people who are there, they also refuse, the police refuse to do their job, their command refuse to do their job, when they come to National Assembly as to find redress, let's just be very strong in our actions, like the Speaker has said. Let's just be very strong, resolute in what we are doing to ensure that because that's why we are here. So I expect the committee to particularly when Gajigo said, Gilma said they have banned Gajigo from operating. Now, in his engagement with the committee, he said he has been banned, but he's using 2018 lancing. That kind of confuses me. How is that possible? You are banned with another one. You are saying that means you have two lancing at the same time. Maybe the chair will help us with that. I don't understand that one. You are banned, but you are saying you are using 2018. That means that one is not banned. They are banning the 2020. I don't get that one. I don't get that one. So if that is the case, that means there are serious flaws in the way they lancing these people. How can one person get two lancing at the same time? So you ban this one and he's able to continue with another one. And then he told the committee blatantly that he will continue to operate. He told you that he will continue to operate, even with the ban. And you will still recommend that he should be banned. But he told you, with the ban, I'm going to cooperate. So what action should we take? So I think we need strong actions. That is my position with this. Even with the detainees escaping, those things should not go free like that. I expect the committee to bring up cases that are raised in this investigation, this tour and these hearings, to pinpoint them, particularly those things that we are going to tax the IGP to find out. Those things. Prisoners escaping, cases being reported, nothing coming out of it. All this, you should pinpoint all these things and instruct the IGP to provide why this is so in the soonest possible time. Those strong positions is what I require from the committee. Apart from that, I thank you all for the effort, and thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Kalinding Kunja. Honorable members, where police, especially at a regional level, need an MOU with the line institution to implement an act of parliament, should send signals that a lot has been compromised. Before you can act, if you are caught stealing, it means the police have had an MOU with that institution before they can implement. MOU before you can implement Gilma. But yet when they see you going with a ship, they begin to ask you, and probably you found is stolen and all these things. So from there, I think we should read that a lot has been compromised. Honorable Member for Old Yundum.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I was going to withdraw my intervention on this particular report because I think Member for Talinding have extensively, addressed some of the things that I wanted to say as well. But one of the things first let me thank the committee for taking the time to work on this particular petition. It has been long. I remember in the 5th legislature, always they have meetings with people coming from Wuli and the other departments. But something I have not seen in the report, and I think the chairperson, probably it may be an oversight or something they, just omit from the recommendation that should have been captured. If you look at the hearing between the committee and the minister, the former Minister for Interior, he stated something in the report that was very clear. And part of the recommendations, we have not seen the committee capturing that. And that is very important because that was what the minister said. It would have been better for the committee to capture that as a recommendation or a resolution for us to implement, because that should have been done. Because the police as a unit, if you're talking about the police is too wide. You have a lot of people in the police who are, honest, they are committed to their job. These are individuals, who are banking on this particular act in that region. These are individuals. They're putting on a uniform though, but they are individuals. And they are from a particular police station. So it is known. I just don't want to generalize the term police, because there are a lot of police working in other regions who are very much committed to their job. But the recommendation by the minister, and it reads, the minister confirmed that there is a definite inaction from the police to address the problem in the region. He stated that the issue required a drastic action, replacing the entire police deployment in the region. Furthermore, he confirmed that the report of the investigation he ordered was not submitted to his office. And then the committee asked whether ignorance of the Gilma Act is a genuine excuse for not implementing the provisions of this act. And the minister's response was, the minister stated that it is wrong from the officers for failing to implement these provisions, even if they are not aware about the Gilma Act, because a crime has been committed and it has been reported. They should have taken action. That is very clear. So I have expected this provision to have a recommendation or part of the resolution that you are bringing forward to plenary, so that you can have that blessings, because the police need to act on that. Like I said, they are individuals. They are just few. Like Member for Talinding said, they can be sacked from the police if they are found wanting, conniving with the individual who is doing this act. So for Amadou, who has been mentioned adversely on almost all the things, something should have been done as well. Even though you would have seen things as, most of the things as accusation, because there's no, clear line to say he has stolen this thing from this individual. But he has been mentioned on all these things. Something has to be done. Maybe he has something else that is hidden for us to know, or the committee should be aware of. Then I think there is a lot more to be done on the report for us to, find the clear truth about all these things. Maybe we'll need to do more. Otherwise, it's just going to be difficult for us to take it. Otherwise, you need to improve on the recommendation for us to take action on certain things as well. Honorable Speaker, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Ulu. I now invite Honorable Member for Nyamina West.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I also thank the committee for a job well done. I don't intend to keep long. I have gone through the report, and most of my colleagues have addressed most of the issues. When we come to on the security aspect, I have gone through the report. I have seen what is stated by the governor and then IGP and the ministers recommend as he stated. But my concerns here are on the Amadou. And now my concern is on the community and it's contradicting. If you allege someone as your thief and yet still you have to pay him ransom to get back your animals. Well, I do sympathize them. I am an animal rearer. I know how I feel when someone go away with my animals. If I happen to see you before the police, I either return my animals or you kill me before the police will come. But how comes I happen to accuse you of stealing my animals and I've called you again to discuss with you, to negotiate, to give you ransoms to get back my animals? It's contradicting. Let's look at that clearly. And there are many people who pay ransom, but the chief didn't pay. And we said there is a problem in the community. Who are the problems? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Nyamina West. I now invite the Honorable Member for Banjul North.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I will also want to join my honorable colleague members to commend the mover of this important report and also his entire team for this comprehensive report as far as the case in Wuli is concerned. Honorable Speaker, I will be very specific, and mine will be more of a question than a comment. And I will want to refer the entire House to page 9. That has to do with the second paragraph, if you permit me to read, please, which says, moreover, in a letter addressed to the Chief of Wuli East District, copied to the Governor of URR, Police Commissioner, URR, and the NIA Director dated 20th February 2022, the association registered complaints on the activities of the advancedly mentioned witness, that is Mr. Amadou Gajigo. In this letter, it was alleged that Mr. Gajigo was not only accused of animal rustling, but also demanding cash or livestock inducement to help in locating missing animals. From the letter, the committee was informed that the following persons paid certain amounts or livestock to Mr. Gajigo, and the list goes on. I will want to ask the mover of this motion whether the committee was able to collect evidences of receipt after they have paid to Mr. Gajigo these funds or this money, whether they were able to get receipt from Mr. Gajigo, because we also talking about Resolution 2, that all reported cases of animal theft since 2017 be investigated by the police and brought before a court of law, which is indeed very important. So I will want the mover of the motion to at least clear my doubt on this, whether they were able to collect evidences as far as receipts were concerned in terms of documentation, so that it will enable us, so that it will enable the people that might be taking Mr. Gajigo to court to provide evidence to the courts, so that there will be a very clear ruling at the end of the day. So this is what I wanted to know, and thank you very much once again for this comprehensive report. And I believe it is something that I will describe as an eye-opener. It is happening today in Wuli, but tomorrow it can happen in the city of Banjul, So it is important for us to try by all means to see that all the gaps involved in such a report should be closed as soon as we can as Parliament. Thank you.
I now invite the Honourable Member for 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏𝒆𝒍.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, for giving me the floor. I thank the mover of the motion, Honourable 𝒂𝒊𝒏, for a very comprehensive report. I don't intend to go long with my intervention. For me, I don't even know why we are so emotionally attached to this report. Because for me, the Gambia Police Force has clearly tell us they cannot investigate a crime. They are not willing to investigate a crime. They are not capable of investigating a crime. They are unable to investigate a crime because their hands are tied. Simply, they are accomplices. They are accomplices to this cattle rustling in Sierra or in UR rather. This is not a sophisticated crime. This is not a cyber security crime that needs some level of sophistication. This is not a specialized crime like terrorism that needs some sophisticated knowledge. This is just to go and investigate a person that has been accused by quite a lot of villages. Why do we need to waste time? For me, it's as simple as this. Let the National Assembly tell the police to go and investigate, bring evidences against Mr. Amadou, indict Mr. Amadou, take him before the court, and let him be sentenced by the court. Then we here to ban him. I'm not part of any team or any National Assembly member that is going to ban Mr. Gajigo if the police don't investigate. Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker.
I now invite the Honourable Member for Upper Salu.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. And first, I would like to thank the committee for doing a brilliant job. Talking to all stakeholders to ensure they get to the bottom of the issue with cattle rustling. Honourable Speaker, I will stand here to say that I'm a victim of cattle rustling just a few months ago. In Sierra North. But fortunately for me, I was able to, well, I didn't get the animal, but I got the meat. So because, it was found already across the border that the animal was actually killed in a village called Nganda after Lower Salom. And we had to involve the gendarmerie of the Senegalese, and they were able to apprehend the person. And, but luckily for me, I was able, they paid me in full. But I prefer the animal than the cash. So this is something real, and it's actually happening across the country. I can also say that this is not the first time myself or my family actually was actually a victim of this. So this is really a very serious matter in this country, and I think something needs to be done. But Honourable Speaker, I think we've been talking, but I think there's a need to also congratulate the people of URR for restraining themselves. Because I think if you go through the report, they have done a very good job as citizens. They have not taken the law into their own hands, and they must be commended for doing that. And I bet if this was done in another area of this country, we are talking about another Gajigo, but not this one. That's what I can tell you. So I think we all need to thank the people of URR for being law-abiding, for ensuring that the law takes its course, even though they are yet to get justice. But I think we need to commend them for letting the law, take its course. So, and I think we want to thank them. I will agree with a lot of members here that are talking. It seems there's actually a lot of conflict in this particular issue in URR. Because, again, I think it's the responsibility of law enforcement, not only to protect us as humans, but also to protect our property as well. But again, from this report, it's very clear that they are not willing to do that. So I think now the onus is on us to make recommendations to the Inspector General of Police to ensure that something is done and something must be done immediately. Because you do not want a situation where the citizens take the laws into their own hands. And I think that's very clear that the people of URA don't want to do that. So I think the Inspector General of Police must act now. Now, the only area I have a concern, which I want the mover of the motion That is on the resolution. On page 18, where he says that a resolution that Mr. Amadou Gadjigo, who was advancedly mentioned in all the hearings in Wuli, and whose license have been revoked, be permanently banned from trade in animal and butchery. So I just want to be sure exactly who are you making this recommendation to. Is it to us, or is it to Gilma, or who exactly? Because I'm not sure if we have any powers under any laws in this country to be able to ban anybody on anything. And as far as Gilma is concerned, I think it's very clear from the report that they've revoked the license. So essentially, this resolution is for who? That's my question. And on that note, I want to thank the committee once again for doing a very good job on this report. Thank you.
Yes. Honorable members, this is the last one, honorable member for Lower Salum. But it's gone 2 o'clock, honorable members, and we are in Ramadan. After honorable member for Lower Salum, we will adjourn for 20 minutes to pray, and then we come back to continue. Yeah, we will just go out to pray. Honorable members, I will want to appeal when we go. Let's try to come back quickly so that we can finish the other paper today. Honorable Member for Lower Salum.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. I also want to join my colleagues on this report. Honorable Speaker, before I start my debate on this report, I will quote the former VP, that's Badara Diouf. He said, it is right to do what is right, to get what is right, and we have to do it right, and right by doing it right. Honorable Speaker, theft in this country, or thief in this country, is paramount. The former president said, if we compromise on our securities, mean we compromise our own people. Security is a problem in this country. Honorable Speaker, if our own forces, is an accusation because there is no evidence of fact, but if at all is true, when our officers get bribes by thefts, where are we going to? Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we have seen just recently, just 2 months ago, in Nyofele, where a police officer was apprehended of stealing a mobile phone. Honorable Speaker, where are we now? If our own forces now, where we should believe on and doing such things, it's better we mortgage our country to the thieves. Because, Honorable Speaker, if things happen like this is happening in our country, then our lives and properties, where is stakes? It's a problem in the country, and it needs to be addressed. Honorable Speaker, we all know the salaries of police officers is low, is 100% true. But the integrity of that caption, police officer, should also be looked at. They have to be a professional when they are doing things. I must thank the committee and the people of URA. They have done the right thing. And now I challenge the Inspector General of Police, the member of SAMI said, all these people could have present today, which I asked the committee now, whether there was any info that passed to these officers, that's the minister and the IG, whether this report will be laid in plenary. I have not seen anywhere the IG comes to Parliament and listens to parliamentarians on the issues that they are going to say in Parliament. Since 2017, I'm here. It's only the sooner where I saw them sitting down there. But from there, I have not seen anywhere the IG witness parliamentary sittings, which is very important. Honorable Speaker, if this accusation, I'm not saying is a fact. If at all they are true, then we have a problem. Where I quote page 11, it was put to him that both the petitioner and other witnesses meet earlier to inform the committee that he, Mr. Gayigo, has been friendly and bribed officers in kind. Where the former Vice President condemned bribery. It's part of corruption in the body. Honorable Speaker, we had to pass this anti-corruption bill as soon as possible. That is killing our people. Honorable Speaker, bribery is a corruption. It's a manslaughter. Honorable Speaker, a professional police officer should not be bribed for a kilo of meat. It's a shame, Honorable Speaker. Sorry to say it. But the way things are going, this maslahat symptom, we should go away with these maslahat symptoms. And this, I'm putting to you, sorry to say it, the way Gambians are putting this democracy, I tend to disagree with them. A sense of dictatorship has to be in our country, or else we are nowhere to go. Honorable Speaker, what is democracy? In fact, I blame the committee. When Gayigo said he will operate on his license, you should condemn him. Immediate effect to be arrested. He's a criminal. But you don't do it. Because the way he traumatized these police officers is the way he did to you people also. You don't do anything. What are you afraid of? Immediate effect. You should warrant an arrest of that criminal. He's a criminal. But this masala, at the end of the day, we passed this report. It lined there with dust. And now, all these resolutions, from 2017 to date, we make resolutions. Now, it's the government who should act on it. But it will just pass there with dust. We have to change the way, in fact, this parliament is moving. We have to change, Honorable Speaker. Any resolution that we made in parliament, we see it happen. Honorable Speaker. We can't be just lama, putting things, come here, we all spend our 30 minutes standing, talking all issues. At the end of the day, it goes dust. A sense of dictatorship has to come to this ruling, especially the Gambian people. The way things are going, I'm pity. Honestly, thank you very much for giving me the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Lower Salum. Honorable Member, Section 100 of the Standing Orders will remind us that 1 month after the adoption of this report, the minister responsible will have to come to the Assembly to report and to answer to our queries. It's in the Standing Orders. And I was mentioning that we need to go beyond that, because a lot of things have been said. We should all brainstorm to find a good format where, after all this hard work, we are able to ensure that we capture all the relevant facts and monitor them effectively. And the Honorable IGP cannot take the floor here. It's the Interior Minister who should be around. If he can bring along these people, and if they have any information, he can relate it to them. Honorable members, thank you all for your contributions. The House now stands adjourned until 2:30 p.m. In the next in the next 20 minutes. It's about 9, 10 after. So we will suspend until 2:30, 20 minutes for us to pray.